Okay, hi.
Yay! Hi. Welcome, We're doing the best we can here.
But yes, we are here.
You're
Okay.
here. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
So let me sort of start at the top and we will get going. I'm just so glad you're here. Hello and welcome to In the Making, a series of conversations from North Bennett Street School where we connect with a range of new voices, fields, and perspectives. Before we get into our conversation, we want to thank the many supporters that make our programs possible, including the Massachusetts Cultural Council and our partners in craft. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name is Kristen Odell. I'm an NBSS staff member and host of In the Making. Live from Rome today. What joy that is in itself. It's amazing. Located in the heart of Rome is Studio Cassio, a generations-old mosaic art studio with origins from within the Vatican. So our guests that you can see here are panelists. We have master mosaicist Giuliana, Medicova, and Sara Gozzaldi will guide us through the history of their ancient craft and demonstrate how mosaics are made. Again, live from Rome. So upfront disclosure, as you all know already, Studio Cassio is located in a 16th century stone building at the bottom of a hill in the heart of Rome. So please do expect some technical glitchiness, and they are going to kick us off with their view out their door.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here, Giuliana.
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
For you, it could be good morning as well. Buongiorno, quindi. We are center of Rome, and this is our studio. And oops. In fact, behind that block, we can see a Colosseum right there. And let's see.
Awesome.
Sara, hi.
Hi, Sara.
Hello. And welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone. Okay. Can you see?
We can see. So,
okay.
So give us, where are we in your space? And can you give us a history of Studio Cassio from the two of you?
Of course. So we are in our studio. The name, as you said, it's Studio Cassio, and the name comes from the family name. The Cassio's family has been making mosaics for many, many generations, actually. The first Cassio ran the Vatican Mosaic Studio for over 40 years. And he had 8 children. And every day, every child had to make a small mosaic of the Virgin Mary, starting from the age of 8, every single day except on Sunday. Of course, he made them work not for money or something like that, but just to instill in them a strong ethic of work, the discipline, and the passion for this art. One of them, Fabrizio Cassio, founded this place after the Second World War. So we are around 1946-47. And he invented many important techniques about restoration of Roman mosaics. That is why the studio restored, the most part of mosaics that you can see here in Rome when you will come here, but also in general in Italy, in Naples, archaeological sites such as Pompeii, Ercolinium, Tivoli, and also all around the world. Fabrizio worked a lot also in the United States, actually. Maybe the most famous mosaic that he made, it's now placed in the Central Park of New York, in Strawberry Field, the memorial of John Lennon. Maybe you already seen.
Oh, yes. Yes, we've all seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And made in 1985, and was commissioned for here. And yes, because he worked a lot all around the world. And so now we are trying to keep continuous the tradition, of course, and we still work on mosaic for sure. But as I said, he restored a lot.
Yeah. And when we speak about ancient mosaic, first of all, we speak, for us, ancient. It's not like 17th century or something. It's like 2,000 years ago. So Roman Empire, it's ancient for us. So we have a lot of archaeological pieces like this. This is a typical Roman mosaic floor, right? And sometimes we can see that sometimes we can see that pieces are actually very, very thick. Think that someone cut these stones 2,000 years ago with this high-tech tool. Like, Sara
Amazing.
should be ready to pass me material. I'm ready behind you. Right. So we still use this material, this kind of tools. And as you can see, 2,000 years ago, they had a lot of marble tiles. In fact, this is a typical, it could be a typical image of archaeological site like this. We restored a lot of sites like this, ancient Roman domes. And actually, we used to detach mosaics piece by piece. We used to detach them, and sometimes we had to bring it into museum. Sometimes we have to change a mosaic base, only to change a mosaic base. So we have to detach it, make a new base, and then replace it perfectly as it is. But as you can see, this archaeological site, we don't have walls anymore, right? But when we restored mosaic in Pompeii, actually, yes, we restored wall mosaics as well.
Vertical, right.
Exactly. And there we can find different materials like this. This is, it looks like a chocolate, it looks like some sweets, but candies, exactly. But actually it is 2,000 years glass. This is glass. Incredible that 2,000 years ago, they had a production of colorful glass, not only simple glass. We have a very, very strange mother. I don't know if you can see, but we have a very, very strange mother pearl shining on it. And only ancient glass has this quality. It's incredible. I don't know if 2,000 years, in 2,000 years, we have the same shining on our glass or plastic,
right?
But definitely something incredible.
Giuliana, question for you.
Sure.
Glass is used for vertical and stone is used for floor?
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
Because mosaic, it is a very durable art. So we employ a lot, starting from ancient times, we employ a lot of stones for floors and for wall mosaics, glass as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And in Italy, we don't use a lot of ceramics. This is interesting because our typical material is glass and marble.
Why not ceramic?
Maybe because of the history, because it was always like this. Ceramic, it could be part of more Arabic culture. Maybe that is why in Spain you can find a lot of ceramic mosaic, because it was influenced.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Between Arabic culture and local culture, but here we use only marble and glass. So remember, no ceramic.
Okay.
But later, when we have a Byzantine mosaic, probably starting from Sara. Okay, you see? This is a typical sample of Byzantine mosaic, right?
Can you bring it closer? Can we see it closer?
Sure. A lot of gold and glass, right?
Yes.
You can see that it's very shiny. And
very shiny.
What do you think? Is this a real gold?
Yes.
Yes and no.
What's Giuliana, what is the biggest identifier of Byzantine mosaic? Is it the gold part of it?
Well, a typical kind of drawing, a typical, this is the not it's not only gold, but a kind of drawings.
The style of the drawing.
Typical style. They have a simple lines. They have a very. It could be very primitive mosaic because we have a few colors. We don't have a large scale of colors, a lot of shadows. We have a couple of blue, a couple of red, and it's we can say that it's very simple drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
what about gold? Look, this is original gold. It's pretty hard to see because we have a very, very thick layer of glass. So it could be 14 millimeters or something.
Wow.
Then we have a fine gold leaf on it, and then we have one more layer of glass on the top. Interesting, because they melted. They attached it without any glue, just they melted together. And like it's incredible.
Wow.
And today we can buy gold like this. It's too shiny. It's definitely too shiny for us because
it looks too new. It looks too new, right?
Exactly. And our problem that we work in a historical building. We work in Rome, so over Italy. So sometimes we have to combine ancient walls with the new mosaics, because when we work for churches, sometimes it is very important building. That is why we have to invent something. We have to cut it more. We can't employ original gold because we don't have it anymore. But we can invent. We should add different materials. We have to make it a little bit not perfectly flat.
Yep.
So it's
have some texture. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's not like a just simple background. It's we have to manage it.
Right. It would be so you have to distress it and age it so that it blends with the historical mosaic. Yeah.
Now you can't really see, but there and far away we have a sample of modern gold. But our recipe, we have particular recipe. Just we have to take 5 kilograms of marble Verona. We have to take 10 kilograms of gold.
Wow.
Then we have to Venetian smalti, just to create this kind of ancient vibration. And from far away, you have the same impact as an ancient.
I love how you call it a vibration. It's like a visual vibration. I like that. I just want to pause and let our guests know that our camera is stationary in their workshop, because the deeper they go in the workshop, we lose connection. So we wish so much that we could tour the space, but we'll lose the program if we do that. So thank you for understanding.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. So, absolutely.
Just remember, 16th century building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then we speak always about churches, and of course in Rome you can't miss the Vatican. For example, that saint, it could be Francisco, but we are not pretty sure, because this is original sample of the Vatican mosaic. And as you can see there, we have a lot of colors. We speak about the Vatican. I think most part of our clients have already been into the Vatican, but that's incredible, because there into San Pietro in the Basilica, you can find 10,000 square meters. Like, it's incredible. 10,000 square meters, more than 1 mile, something like this.
Wow.
And you can find a lot of colors.
What's the age of that piece right there? How old is that piece?
Well, it's not exactly 17th century. It could be made just 200 years ago, but with original materials. So the original materials looks like this. We call it pizza. We call it pizza of glass. In fact, this is really a particular material, because when we break it with a hammer, so it's actually glass, but I can feel, I can touch it, and it looks like ceramic. It's incredible. But remember that we don't use any ceramic. In fact, you can see the color is all the way through, and you can notice that we have a kind of stamp, the coat of the Pope, Reverenda Fabbrica San Pietro, St. Peter's factory. So St. Peter's factory. We speak about 17th century, when they had to replace a beautiful paintings in the walls into San Pietro, because in a few years it began to fade. First, they put all beautiful paintings on the walls, and then they had to remove it and turn it into mosaic. And this is one color that I show you. This is only one color. Now we can, now forse meglio sì. Now we can buy this. We use Murano marble, or we use Murano glass, and this is our choice. We have less than 300 colors, but I think that just question for you, try to guess. Just try to guess how many colors did they make in the Vatican.
I could not even.
Number.
Is it in the thousands?
Yeah.
More than 1,000? It's in the 5,000s? The 5,000s?
More.
How are there even that many colors?
Okay, I think that they made more than 24,000 colors.
Wow.
We don't know the perfect exact number, because sometimes you can find 28,000 number, definitely more than 24,000 colors.
Wow.
It's absolutely, it looks like a painting, and it's absolutely masterpieces.
Giuliana, does St. Peter's factory still produce?
No, they stopped produce glass 200 years ago.
Okay.
So they are full of materials, but they don't produce it anymore. But they don't need it, because when they finished San Pietro, a lot of mosaicists were left without work, without job, because they have been making mosaic generations and generations for about 200 years, but then they finished, and a lot of mosaicists were left without job. But in the Vatican, they were not happy only with 24,000 colors. They invented even a new technique, because they had a really big problem to make a really small details to define the image. That is why they invented a different technique, because we still make it. We still, in a kind of spoon, call it spoon. Look, it's a really high-tech tool.
Yeah.
We put different pieces of glass, then we turn on a flame of a 800 degrees flame, and we mix different glass, and then we pull it with a medieval torture instrument. We pull it and we make a kind of spaghetti, a kind of sticks of glass. Okay, like, yeah. And we can, of course, we can make different colors, different shapes, but the idea is to use, the idea is to make right color and then to use only that surface, so only the tip. And that
is so tiny. It's
less than 1 millimeter, less than. And you can make, as I said, any color and any shape.
What would be the tool you would use to pick up a piece of that 1 millimeter glass?
We have tweezers. We have really simple. And do you remember that a lot of mosaicists were left without job, and they started a new business. They started to make small pictures like micro mosaic. This is work in progress piece, that just to show you that actually we have a sticks of thing that this is original image, like upside down image. And you can see all different shapes, all different shadows. And so we actually use small spaghetti sticks to make mosaic. This is micro mosaic.
That's unreal.
And they started to make jewelries as well. Okay, we used to restore original jewelry. And look, this is 17th century jewelry that we restored.
Wow.
And
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell in this from our view, but that is miniature mosaic.
Absolutely, yes. You have pieces less than 1 millimeter, and each has own shape. But as you can see, it's all a little bit round shapes. It's not square shapes anymore. You can find ancient mosaics, micro mosaics, really, really small mosaics, but it's always a little bit more square, regular, and most part made with marble. But this is, if you find pieces like this, really small mosaic and a little bit round shaped, it's not ancient. So remember, ancient for us to Roman Empire. These could be Vatican mosaics, Roman micro mosaic, and we speak about 18th, 17th century, not ancient.
How were they making round pieces as opposed to?
Because of the flame, when you pull it, it's soft. So it's much more difficult to make square pieces. But when it's always soft, it's always so next time when you look at strange mosaic, try to understand what kind of technique. If it is small and round shaped, it's because of the flame. When you pull it, it's softer, so it's easier to make a round shape instead
Interesting.
of
It's harder to make the square shape.
Okay, but so remember that we have ancient mosaic, a lot of marble floors, and they started to use glass on the walls. Then we have Byzantine mosaic full of gold and incredible vibration.
Yes.
Right? And then we have Vatican mosaic, a lot of colors, just thousands and thousands of colors. We have micro mosaic, really small and round shaped. And then we have and we, as a studio, we keep doing all these techniques with original recipes, because if you don't know how to make original glue, how it was done,
you don't know how to repair it, right?
Right. That's
So-
right. That's what we learn here. I'm sitting next to our bookbinding program right now, and they're learning historical techniques often for the same reason, so that then that's how they learn how to repair a historical book.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, and now we would like to show you different techniques how we make it. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready, Sarah.
So we would like to show a few works in progress.
Yes. So, well, now. So we used to work, we call the direct method. We used to work with a temporal support, which is actually a clay, like that one. So we prepare a table of clay.
Yep, yep, yep.
Then we print a kind of tattoo on the clay. First, we draw the main line guides on the paper. And with a water-soluble pen, we are able to print this image on the clay.
Yes.
In that way, we have the main line guides to follow. Here, better.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we prepare material. We cut the material, we cut the pieces, we prepare the colors, and we start to compose the mosaic, of course. And here we can show you, well, in fact, those are all the tables are from the Vatican, as we said before. And this is the most important table. This is the master table because it's the only one that you can put in vertical like that. And master usually makes the face. And so it is important to have the right perspective. So I don't know if you can see.
We can see. Yeah. Wow.
Okay. So this is the clay. And the pieces are fixed and they are stick into the clay. And this way, it's one of the most comfortable way of work, because of course we can keep working for several, well, even months if we need it. The important thing is that the clay should always wet. That is why we spray a bit of water at the end of the day, and then we cover the work with some plastic. And we see the good part of the mosaic. That is why we call it a direct method. We directly see the final result. But what is the problem? When we'll be done, we will need to remove the entire mosaic from the clay and to install into the final frame, because the clay, as I said before, is just a temporal support. So to do that, we use the same process of the restoration. As Giuliana said before, when we remove from the ground the mosaic in order to restore it, we need to remove the entire mosaic completely. So we need to glue a cloth on the top. And we do the same also when we restore. And so also here, to be able to remove from the clay, we glue a simple cloth. We call it here, I don't know why, but grandmother's cloth. And we, and we glue on the surface this cloth with a very simple flour glue. When the clay becomes dry, okay, it's very easy to remove it. Can you see here?
Yes.
Little by little, every single, all the clay. Okay, so at the end, we will have here all the mosaic clean, but the good part is still there, right? Then we will spread here a layer of concrete. It's a kind of cement. We prepare a frame. We put into the frame that, and then with a simple water, we remove the cloth. Okay.
Wow.
So that is why that this method is very very comfortable, but it takes a while. Also because all the assembled part, it takes at least 2 days, a couple of days, even more, because the time to let the clay dry, and also the cloth, and then we have to wait that concrete becomes dry to be able to clean it very well with a brush. So that is why it takes a while.
But the purpose of that technique is so that you can, as you're creating the mosaic, you're seeing the good side. You're not you're not having to assemble it reverse.
Well, it depends, because in fact, here we have another example of a work in progress. And that's a good question, because here we can see the indirect method of work. So
that is reverse. Is that reverse?
Exactly. This is possible when we work with bigger mosaic, and also with bigger tiles, of course, because we cannot make a micro mosaic or something little and precise with the indirect method. But the idea is that we have an original image. We decided to make this big mosaic. So
wow,
the studio is more specialized in restoration work, but it's also, we prefer to work with the original drawings, with original projects. So we always we are a bridge between the committant and the artist. So we prefer to work with the original image and then turn into mosaic. And so we have here an original draft made by Giovanni Heinal, that is a very important artist. And so to be able to convert into mosaic, we have printed the image with the real size. It's gonna be 4 square meters, around 4 square meters. But of course, the image is upside down, inverted.
Right, reverse, yes, yeah.
Reverse, exactly. And then we have prepared a kind of map.
Wow.
Okay. We divide it into smaller parts, like a puzzle, like during the restoration, actually. And we work piece by piece.
This is a piece number 12, right?
Wow.
And we are working, we just glue it to a paper with a little bit of cloth. And as you can see, the surface is irregular, but yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So, this is the back of the mosaic. You are seeing the wrong part of the mosaic.
Got it. So it's uneven, right?
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's uneven, because the good part is glue on the back, on the paper. And so the indirect method allows us to skip all the step of the assembled part. So we don't have the clay, we don't have the cloth. We will just spread here directly the concrete.
Right.
And we will put directly into the final support.
Where is this mosaic going? This was a commission?
That was well, at the beginning, yes, but it's a commission. We already made one example for a private house. And see that we really love it. We decided
it's
to make
so
it
beautiful.
because we really miss it. Also, this is an example of the final result.
Yeah.
So you made one, and then you parted with it, and then you missed it, so you made another one.
Exactly. We decided
I can understand.
Oh, yeah, because it's so strong visual impact. In fact, we would like to have a wall like with this.
Yes, we renovate a little bit the space, and also because as she said, this is a very a style who is going to pass, so we have to keep it alive.
Yeah.
And this is Fabrizio maybe was one of the greatest in this field and in this style, so it's important to have some examples. So here in the studio to show to all the people that comes here. And
So beautiful, so beautiful. Can I ask you some questions?
sure.
What is the oldest mosaic that Studio Cassio has restored, or that one of you two have worked on?
Well, we are personally
To
no, we are not. I'm specialized in micro mosaic and faces, yeah, portraits. Sara, she's amazing. She's specialized in ancient mosaic making. But
Yeah.
for sure, we have Maurizio, we have Carlo. It's a different team. So we
because it's a very hard
it's-
work.
yeah.
For
Once you made it,
physical.
it's
Do you?
well, the studio restored the mosaics in the National Museum of Rome, and they are really old. I think
Mhm.
that
it's hard to say because we
the-
speak about all National Museum of Rome, and as I said before, ancient period. It's always about 2000 years ago. It's so difficult to say what is the first earlier. So
Mhm. Okay.
me personally, I restored mosaic floor but it's not ancient, but it is 15th century.
Mhm.
And it was a building, yeah.
You both, and I've known this since we first met, you both are so passionate and joyed about your work and mosaics. How did you find yourself in this niche craft, world of mosaic? How did you end up here?
I don't know, because it's really difficult that you when you're born, I want to be a mosaicist.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm an architect, and I started to work here in the studio to make a precise draft of the entire location. Then maybe 9 years ago, I met Sara.
yes,
Yeah.
for me personally, I studied art. I never thought about mosaic before meeting Giuliana, and I just
Mhm.
come to the studio and I tried, and I really felt in love with this art.
I love that.
It was just the right place in the right moment for me. And
Your joy for the craft just sings through, and I can hear it and see it. It's so refreshing. A question from a guest. When you take a mosaic off the wall for restoration, how do you remove the concrete backing?
Okay, this is a good question, because sometimes during the restoration, we have to remove it completely. Only there should be a reason why we remove it. Normally, we remove it when, or we have to transport it into different museum. In this case, when we flip it, I'll show you. When we flip it, we have the same situation that you have all concrete. Well, first of all, of course, you can't, when you have an entire floor, you can't detach the entire floor. You have to detach it piece by piece by maybe that big. You should able to remove it. And so when we have to transport it into museum, we detach and we try to conserve the original support as much as we can. So in general, the idea of restoration, it's not like to build new or like to repair, but how to save what we have. So we have a Colosseum, we have a missing part of the Colosseum, we know how it was, but we can't rebuild it, right? We have to save, we can build the kind of structure to be able to save what we have. The same, absolutely the same in the restoration. There should be a reason why we have to detach it completely. The most important reason that you can see the surface, and underneath you don't have ancient glue anymore, ancient concrete anymore.
Here it's
And that is why, yeah, for example, this picture with a beautiful man. Really, as you can see, it's really easy to detach when you don't have an old concrete.
Wow.
But yeah, it's
So what I think I just heard you say is that restoration in, you know, ancient Rome or in the mosaic world is more about stabilizing. Would that,
exactly.
does that sound right? Right.
yeah.
It's less about rebuilding than it is stabilizing the object.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts on any effects of climate change on ancient mosaics?
Well, we have never interesting.
Well, they are here since so many.
Right. They've been there for 2,000 years already.
Exactly.
Well, Italy, it's incredible world because you never stop to discover it. We have an archaeological site next to Naples, which is close to, and you can find mosaic under the sea. So you can swim. It's about 15 meters, but you can see ancient mosaic floors. We think about nowadays and mosaic and nowadays how to. I don't know if we can spend 2 words about our project.
I know. Yes. Well, let's get to that in a second. You have a side project that will tie into the climate change question. Let me just ask a few more questions from guests. Are mosaicists traditionally men, or is there any tradition of women practicing the craft outside of you two?
Well, that's a real exception.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I must, as we said before, if you want to restore,
Exactly.
so you can fall in love with an idea of the restoration. But when you work all day long, all days under 40 degrees in archaeological site it's really, really difficult work. So maybe you can make it twice. You can make it. No, we love it. But we have a team of men, and they used to restore.
But maybe on the micro mosaic.
Well, micro mosaic is completely different. Micro mosaic, it's you need more precision, more. It's
and mostly are that I know are women.
Women are more precise.
Yes. There are a lot of industries. Yeah, there are a lot of industries like that. You just reminded me of there's a tool maker in Massachusetts that we just went to visit, and they make precision tools. And it's only the women who in the end of the workshop who are adding the hands and the feet and the dials, and we'll see if that ever changes, but
do you remember Cassio's children when he made them work to instill a strong work ethic in them when they were small, with a small fingers?
Exactly.
Yes.
Children are perfect.
Yes. A question about Hagia Sophia's dome. Is that how am I saying that correctly? How would mosaics have been placed in a dome? I guess let's put it that way, in a domed ceiling, I'm imagining.
In fact, in the curved surface,
yes.
We have to go there. We work a lot for churches. In fact, our last job was a church in Bari. It's about 12 square meters, but difficult shape. And we have to go there. We have to make a kind of paper. We have to attach paper. Then we have to make a kind of guidelines. It's really, really difficult to translate drawing into a curved surface. But the idea is very simple, that you need to, I'll show you. when you have to make a paper, when you have to divide the whole entire big mosaic into different sections, so you have to attach paper first on support, then cut it and make different shapes and give numbers, make a precise map of the entire location. In our last project, of course, we employed a computer as well, but even a lot of years ago, they used to work like this, the idea that you have to make a precise paper shape, so each piece is like a puzzle on that surface, right? And then make it piece by piece. You're right that it's very difficult to translate the drawing in the curved surface. But the idea that you have always guideline, and the truth is you never know how it looks like without technology. Now we can see it, but in the past they didn't know how it looks like until they make it.
Right.
So, but
back to another question. There was a second part to the question. When your restoration, or let's call them stabilization team, goes into a historic space, how do they actually remove the mosaic off of the wall or the floor? What is the first step? Are they removing the grout, or?
Well, first step is as I said about restoration. Unfortunately, not we, but our team. They spend most part of the time to study how it has to be done. So the whole preparation is much more. It's the most part of job. You have to sometimes you have to remove only a few pieces. Sometimes you have to make a precise border. It's everything is individual, but first of all, you have to make a precise draft of the entire location. Decide how you have to cut mosaic, and then we use a really high-tech tool. I'll show it to you. Be careful, huh?
The noise is very.
What is this?
So you first of all, of course, we have study. We have to decide how to be done, and then we cover everything with a cloth,
The same grandmother's cloth.
There's
Always the same.
And about glue, the best glue, it's a flour glue,
Homemade. Flour.
Like a wheat paste. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have really high-tech tools like this.
Wow.
This is a sword. It's a kind of big chisels. We have it until 2 meters as well. And yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, will you talk to us about, let's go back to the climate change discussion and share with us this project that you've been working on that sort of speaks to that.
Okay.
Well, okay.
And you can just give us a teaser and then we will come back to it, maybe in the spring.
So once we made, this is our new project, and it looks like this. Ta-da!
Amazing.
And that's incredible, but this is a plastic. The entire plastic bottle crushed into one small cube. And we think about the vibration.
That is vibration.
So the idea that we don't cut bottle, it's a really low cost process. with a hot air and a little bit of pressure, we modify its shape, and we attach it without any glue. It's a we have a lot of colors on the market, which allows us to have all different shadows. And with this, we are going to make now street art and collect bottles with the local people. And they bring plastic to our studio, and we transform it into mosaic tiles.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love that is so beautiful. Just the idea of cleaning, people's waste, literally waste off of the street and turning it into something that's then vertical art on the walls. That's unreal.
right.
Yeah,
I love that.
Local people, they can it's a kind of social project.
Mhm.
Social
And
design.
do you have a name for it?
We have a replastic mosaic. Yeah. Replastic.
Okay.
We can make any images and any kind of installations with this kind of material. We need 900 big bottles to make 1 square meter.
Wow.
Problem in Italy, because unfortunately, I don't know, have you ever been to Rome? We are full of plastic. It's
Yeah. Are you saying big liter bottles or like a small 1 liter?
Yeah, just crushed.
I love that. And do you have, if you're going to make public art out of these, do you have a spot already? Do you have an image or what you're going to make yet?
Well, of course, we have to connect the different details. We have to connect of course, it's a public project, so we need a public money, and finally we have it. Then we have, of course, we should start with a good artist, because it gives us more visibility, and probably we have it. These days we are speaking about different spots where you can place it, but it will be definitely in Rome. This mosaic, so it's work in progress.
So
we made
great.
One example. Posso farlo vedere?
Yes.
Okay.
Go scroll up. Oh, I see the eyes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Those are 600 bottles.
Wow.
Doha Museum in Qatar.
That's amazing.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, just to start.
Well, maybe in the spring we can reconnect and talk and just speak about that. That would be unreal to see where you've taken it, to see what it turns into.
Sure,
Yeah.
it would be nice to see a work in progress, this project. And,
Well, if none of our guests have any more questions, we will, something from Anne, please send your information. Oh, please send your information to the International Teaching Artists Collaborative. They have a climate impact initiative and might have financial support. I'll send you that information. Okay. But other than that, we are at the top of our program, and I just want to thank our guests for being with us today. This is the last program of the year, and we'll see everybody stay tuned for our programs starting back up in January. We have a great lineup for the early winter and spring. And thank you both, Sara and Giuliana, for your time. I'm so glad that this worked out.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you to invite us.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and ciao, and
Arrivederci.
arrivederci, and happy holidays to everyone.
But for
Thank
you the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much. Well,
all right. Thank you.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.